All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for coming today. We appreciate it. Welcome to International Fight Week. Before we get started, obviously, UFC 226 is this weekend. We have the Ultimate Fighter finale this weekend right here at the Palms. And let's get it started. Who's got the first question?
Unfortunate news, of course, with the cancellation of the previous co-main event. I'm curious, what can you tell us about Max Holloway at this point? An update on his health and just kind of what's going on with him.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. I was just talking to Jeff Nowitzki in the back, and you know, there's a couple of different, you know, people. Some people think it's concussion related, and some people think it's weight cutting related. So they haven't really got down to the bottom of what it is, but according to him, he feels fine, and but obviously he's not fine. So we're going to continue to try to figure out what's wrong with Max Holloway.
So I guess
in the meantime, you know, there's no way that this guy's going to fight anytime soon.
Okay, I was going to ask him. You said anytime soon. So with that in mind, they're still figuring it out. I mean, is there even a ballpark, a time frame, an idea when he could fight again?
I can't remember exactly what the time frame is, but when you look at, you know, he was getting ready for a fight. That fight fell out. Then he was getting ready for another fight, and he didn't make weight and couldn't make the weight. And the list goes on and on. 3 or 4 fights. I can't remember exactly what it was. But the guy's been training and cutting weight, you know, for 3, 4 fights in a row. Yeah, it's very weird. We'll figure it out, and that's that.
I guess the flip side, Brian Ortega, what do you do with him in the meantime? I mean, do you have any idea of getting him another fight? It sounds like maybe you tried to put something together this weekend. It didn't happen. What's the next move for him?
We're working on it. We're working on it. So obviously, literally Jeremy Stevens will not stop blowing me up. He wants this fight so bad. He said he'll take it on short notice. He's cutting weight already, and with the hopes that Ortega will accept the fight. Ortega has turned down the fight. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Nice. And I guess still a good card. I mean, even with that unfortunate news, still a very, very good card. I'm just curious, Dana, what the thought process was, how you picked these 2 guys, the other 2 heavyweights here, to be your co-main event. Was it an easy pick? What was the decision-making process?
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, when you're putting together a card, and especially it's International Fight Week, it takes a lot of timing and things to come together and be right. A lot of guys were healthy. A lot of guys hadn't fought in a while, and everybody wanted to fight on International Fight Week. And then what was awesome, too, is that these 2 accepted a fight with each other, light heavyweight versus the heavyweight champion. Which when they both won their last fight, I felt this was the funnest fight to make in the heavyweight division right now, and they both agreed to it. So, yeah, and let's not even talk about these 2. I mean, that's another great heavyweight fight. We got Mike Perry versus Felder. You got Chiesa versus Pettis, which was supposed to happen. The whole card is stacked with great fights. Prelims are awesome, too. So, thank you. Yes.
And just quickly, if I could, for Derrick Lewis, it was already a big fight. I think people are excited about this. Now it's the co-main event of International Fight Week. I want to ask, you know, just kind of if it changes anything for you to have a little added shine, a little added spotlight, and if you feel that maybe, you know, with you fighting right before the heavyweight title fight that night, if maybe timing might work out, stars might align, and this could mean a special night for you, maybe a title shot in the future.
It really don't matter because, you know, I feel like we should have been getting paid pay-per-view points anyway. So everybody really buying the pay-per-view because of me and Francis.
That's right.
Fair play. Last thing for me, I wanted to ask you, Francis. I mean, there you are now. You're sitting right next to Stipe again, and you know, things worked out that way. I want to ask if you're excited to kind of have this shot again. If you think, you know, maybe an impressive performance against Derrick will give you a chance to maybe go against this guy again.
Yes, I mean, I'm really excited to get back in the octagon. You know, I lost my last fight against Stipe, and then it was a great performance for Stipe, but I learned a lot about that fight. I'm pretty sure that the rematch will be different. I'll do better than I did the last time, and I will do great.
DC down here in front to your left. Okay.
Everyone always says the next fight is their biggest, but you fought for world titles before. You fought John Jones multiple times. Right here, right now. Do you think this is the biggest one of your career?
Yeah, it's the biggest fight of my career. I'm fighting the most successful UFC heavyweight champion of all time, the baddest man on the planet. So nothing I've done to this point is bigger than this. Now, the reality is, these guys, all great guys, they're sitting up here International Fight Week, and it's a big deal for them, but this is where I've lived. I've lived in these moments since I first started fighting. It's just another fight to me. Saturday, I go fight Stipe, great fighter, great champion, but I win again.
One of your teammates, obviously, Cain Velasquez. How much of a part has he played in this camp, I guess, preparing for?
He's been massive. I mean, I rely on my partners so much for everything that I do, winning or losing. Those guys give me every part of themselves, my team. They're scattered all through here. 20 people. You know, it takes a village to build a champion, and to get 2 titles, it takes even more. So this performance is dedicated to those people, my family, my wife, and my kids, and my teammates, because without them, couldn't get it done.
And I guess we all know Cain's had a lot of injuries as well, right?
Yeah.
If he hadn't, do you think he would be the heavyweight champion right now?
Yes, he would. I tell you, man, listen. These guys, everybody in the heavyweight division, Stipe has been phenomenal. Like, he's a great champion. But I still believe that there's nobody like Velasquez, man. I've trained with him a long time, fought a lot of the best heavyweights in the world, but there's nobody like him.
Just one last one. Dana, we have the precedent that when Conor won a second belt, very quickly afterwards, he got stripped of one of those titles. This weekend, Daniel could legitimately get a second belt. Like, what will happen there if he does hold 2 titles?
Yeah, it's something we'll talk about, just like we did with Conor. We talked about it and figured out what we wanted to do, and we'll do the same thing with Daniel.
Hey, Stipe, how you doing? You know, the big news, obviously, in the sports world is LeBron James is no longer with the Cavs, and people in Cleveland are looking for the next face of Cleveland sports. And how would you feel about that? Would you embrace that? You know, if you could have that kind of moniker?
Honestly, I'm just. I mean, LeBron left. It is what it is. But we have so much more. Not just me, but we have the Indians. You know, the Browns are making moves. Finally, hopefully, they can win a couple of games next year. Listen, I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. Like, listen, guys, come on. No, they're really good. I love everything they're about over there, and they made a lot of big moves this offseason. So it is what it is. You know, if they want me, you know, if they put something about me, great. If not, I'm just proud of the city. I love the city and where I came from.
Well, how would you feel about that if they put up a poster of you or a big sign of you one day?
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be sweet. I mean, who wouldn't want that? I mean, I went in my barn to myself because I'm selfish. You know, I look at it all the time. You know, so no, it'd be great though. It'd be great.
Hey, quick, Dana, for you, you know, I just asked Stipe, can he be the face of Cleveland sports? But can Stipe be the face of the UFC going forward?
But he is, though. I mean, if you've ever been to Cleveland, you know what I mean? They love Stipe in Cleveland, man. He is one of the big guys. He goes to all the games. All the other athletes know him. All the fans know him. He really is that guy. Listen, when the heavyweight champion of the world lives in your city, you know about it, and it's a big deal. You know what I mean? And yes, you know, the guy's got more wins than any other heavyweight championship, you know, for title defenses. And, you know, tonight or Saturday night he's going up against a guy who's never lost at heavyweight. So this is a big fight for both of these guys. It's an important fight. It's a big fight, and yeah, it's a big notch in Stipe's career for sure.
DC, for you, what are the challenges of fighting a guy that is 5 inches taller and you has an 8-inch reach advantage on you?
I mean, every person I fight is bigger than me. I mean, when was the last time last time I fought somebody I was bigger than was Jeff Munson. That was in 2010. And I felt like Muhammad Ali out there. I had the reach advantage. The only time I've ever had the reach advantage. But it's the same, man. These guys are, they're all the same. I approach them in all the same ways. Somebody asked me earlier, they said, what's your approach to fighting Stipe? It's going to be the exact same thing. I'm going to go forward, try to walk him down and exhaust him. I'm going to try to take him down. I'm going to try to wear on him and pressure fight him. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel 9 years into my career. I'm 5'11" at best with my tall shoes. And I'm a grinder, and that's what I'm going to do to Stipe on Saturday.
Question for Dana. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Question for Dana, first of all. Going back to the Max Holloway situation, can you just assure us that he has had MRI, EEG scans, and he will be having those? I did speak to a consultant neurosurgeon and kind of talked him through the comments that that Max's team had put out, and he said it could be a number of things. That was his diagnosis, from very simple things to like the beginning of epilepsy or whatever condition it is. But can you assure us that he is going through all these testings?
No, he's done no testing. Of course he's done testing. Of course he's done testing. We're running him through every test there is, and he probably needs to, I just got back from vacation today, so, I'm just getting in the loop on most of this stuff, but, he needs to go to like the Mayo Clinic or one of these type of places and do a full, yes, we will take care of Max Holloway, and he'll go through every type of testing there is till we can figure out what's wrong with him.
Yeah, the question was just posed as you'd said, he's saying he's fine, and obviously he isn't.
Well, originally this happened on, I believe,
Monday.
This started on Monday, and he went through a bunch of tests at the hospital, and they thought he was fine. Then, he did that interview with Michael Bisping, and, people started to realize that something wasn't right, and they brought him back in and started testing him again.
Thank you, Dana. Question for Daniel. Daniel, obviously you have been campaigning at light heavyweight for some time now. Surely there is a difference stepping back in against someone who is potentially going to be perhaps 20 pounds heavier and
No, he's not going to be 20 pounds heavier. I'm just hoping I'm not heavier than he is, get on the scale.
He's definitely going to be heavier than he is.
You know what this guy told me at the Ultimate Fighter? I said, what do you think I'm going to weigh for the fight? And he said, you'll be cutting to 265. That's not true. You don't think I'm that undisciplined?
It's close.
No, it's not true. Not true at all.
It's going to be close.
No, but it's some challenges. Obviously, there were some challenges in training camp early because my weight was heavy and I was trying to spar and train and do everything that I do as a light heavyweight with the extra weight, and it was difficult. I felt my body like I'm more sore. My back is bothering me. But once I got rolling and I started to get into shape, I was like, wow, it feels good to not be essentially malnutrition. I barely get any food when I'm fighting at 205. And then I just had a real moment of clarity that when I was fighting at heavyweight before, I wasn't really training all that hard because I know what I do at 205. And to be able to carry the workload now, I know that I'm training the right way for Saturday.
Thank you. A final question for Stipe. Some conventional wisdom is saying, as Daniel's just mentioned, that he may grind you and he may try and take you late and you may kind of gas in the later rounds. Do you feel that you want to get him out of there early to prevent that happening? And will you?
Well, I think everyone wants to end their night early. That's the way to go. Who doesn't want to get a knockout and go home early unscathed? I'm going to do whatever I got to do. If it's going to be knockout, decision, submission, I don't really care. I'm going to get my hand raised. That's all I'm looking for.
Just one for Derrick, right here. Are you enjoying yourself up there right now? You're kind of shaking your head. You're not laughing at any of the jokes. We've seen you fall asleep at press conferences before. Are you
Talking about, it's fight week, man.
So you're just locked in?
Fight week. I'm in beast mode already. Just talking about.
A question for Francis. Over here, Francis, going into the Stipe fight, you did a lot of work at the Performance Institute, but I know that this time you did a lot of work with John Wood at Syndicate. Is that your full-time team now? Have you decided that that's your team?
Yes, for now that's my full team. I still work at the Performance Institute, but just for my conditioning, and then as a team, I use the Syndicate, and I still also work with my gym in Paris, who is MMA Factory, so they merge together.
Okay. And a question for Stipe. I like looking at your face during these press conferences because you have this look of sort of, I'm unimpressed with everything my opponent is saying. And I'm just wondering, what do you think of Daniel at this point after doing tough with him? And You know, I know sometimes he tried to get under your skin a little bit. How do you feel about Daniel going into the fight?
No, I was waiting for you to come with those questions. That's why I was looking like that, because I'm used to it by now. No, Daniel's a great guy. You know, we had a good time with the Ultimate Fighter. And listen, man, I work in the fire department. I get my balls busted every day. You know what I mean? I'm a little guy on the department. And like I tell you, they always give me a plunger, no matter after a fight. They're like, hey, go to town. I'm like, awesome, yay, get to work on the toilet, you know, or clean the floors or clean the trucks, you know. So, yeah, I'm not good. No one's gonna get under my skin. Oh, my wife knows that button to get under my skin.
Okay, and then just a quick one for Daniel. I know that you keep saying that you're going to go down to 205 after this. That's the plan. But considering, just for, you know, let's just put John aside for a second. Volkan's fighting Alex. You beat both of them. You look to be in amazing spirits. You don't have to cut weight. Your expiration date is coming up in this sport. Why in the world, if things go well, would you go back down to 205? Like, what is there for you to do?
I'm honestly like really selfish, and I don't want to give up one of the belts. So it's like going to be a fight between Dana and I, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, either I fight at 205 or, I mean, I've already got a challenge in the back. Derrick Lewis told me that he was going to knock me out right before we walked out of here. So I mean, Derrick Lewis may knock out Francis and then knock me out afterwards. I don't know. I know they got guys that are lined up to fight me. He's been sizing me up since I got back there and called me small. He was like, well, you're a lot smaller than everybody up here. That's rude, Derrick. He said it. Like, wow, you're a lot smaller than everybody else.
What?
That's crazy.
Derrick, what's your issue with Daniel?
I want to know too.
He disrespected Popeye's chicken on a commercial a few years ago.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Hey, DC, I wanted to ask you if you feel like since you fought at heavyweight, I mean, you do have 3 heavyweights sitting up there on the stage with you.
Yeah.
Has heavyweight evolved? Is it a different division than it was the last time you were there?
Yeah, you know, man, I don't know. I haven't fought there in 5.5 years, you know, so I just know that when I went down, there were things at 205 that I never felt at heavyweight. I mean, Anthony Johnson hit just as hard as any heavyweight I've ever fought, right? Jones did things that I don't think a heavyweight can do. So I've experienced so much at a much faster pace at 205. That's where I feel good about going back up. I know Stipe is a different type of heavyweight, and I know that he's fast, and I know that he's quick, but he's still a heavyweight. And there are things that you see in the lower weight class that you just don't see in this division. It's evolved. It's evolved, but that's why you see guys like him and Kane before him really sprint out ahead of everybody else because they were before their time, and he's the face of the division, as he should be. And he's a great challenge. I'm excited about it.
And just real quickly, one more. Dana, we kind of you got the key to the city, and then we kind of just moved immediately on. As a guy who's from Las Vegas, I just wanted to know, I'm sure you've gotten a lot of awards over the course of your career. What is the significance of getting the key to the city of Las Vegas?
That guy said it's the interim key. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, it's obviously very special. You know, we're proud to be from Vegas, and you know, as an organization, we do a lot for this city, and yeah, no, it's an honor, and I appreciate it.
Dana, with Max falling off the card and this happening last year with Amanda on the day of the fight, actually, how frustrated are you with this happening to the fans and, you know, missing some of the fights that they're looking forward to? And is there any kind of things that you can do to, you know, help this process moving forward? Is there any kind of review or procedures or anything like that you're going to change to try to ensure this doesn't happen anymore?
It's impossible. It's impossible to ensure what happened to Holloway doesn't happen. It's one of these crazy things. Listen, you're dealing with human beings. People get sick, things happen, you know, it's unfortunate, but it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, we've done everything you could possibly try to do to make these guys healthier, to give them a safer place to train, and et cetera, et cetera. Eat the right foods. I mean, we have a restaurant at the PI where they can eat for free, and we've done everything that you can possibly do to try to limit this.
And is Brian Ortega's answer absolutely no, or does he still have time to change his mind on Stevens?
His manager's sitting right in the front row here. Ed Soares is here. All right. Bet you wish you didn't come to this press conference. Is it an absolute no or is it a maybe? It's what? It's no. Get him, everybody. We did talk. Frankie Edgar is a stud. Everybody in this planet knows that. We called him. He said yes. And his family came back and said no. His family was like, there's no way he's going to take this fight. That's an absolute fact. Calm down, sir. It really happened. So, yeah, he's a stud. He wanted to take the fight. He actually was going to take the fight against Jeremy Stevens. They wanted for the interim title. Believe me, we tried everything we could to put another fight on this card, and it didn't work out. Who has the next question? That's it?
I think we were getting a rap sign from the back.
That's it? All right. She'll be here tonight. I'm going to square these guys off, and thanks for coming, you guys. We'll see you Friday.